Welcome back. Well, I have Hoag Orthopedic Institute here, and we have a physician to be a pro football player. So why don't you tell me a little bit about what you do?
I'm an orthopedic surgeon. So, I do take care of the, all the musculoskeletal injuries, but I am a specialist in foot and ankle.
Let's talk about a little bit about your career and why you decided to study in this field.
So my career, 7 years in NFL, cut short by injury, but I always had aspirations to be a physician. And I found that what kept me going after football was a passion for medicine. Mm-hmm. And so I went into medical school and then orthopedic surgery and found my way into foot and ankle, because foot and ankle, everybody has a foot problem. Right. And so I see kids and I see adults and people with deformity and athletes and, all walks of life. And so foot and ankle became, something I really gravitated towards. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about, interestingly, there is arthritis in the midfoot, which I've never heard of.
Yes. So you have to first define what the midfoot is.
Okay.
And it's the connection between the hindfoot, we call the ankle and the heel bone, and the toes. And the midfoot is important because it is a lever arm, and it's responsible for being supple and allowing your foot to kind of accommodate uneven ground, mm-hmm. but then being rigid and allowing you to platform and to do things like jump and to run. So the midfoot is very important in human gait, essentially.
Okay. So obviously runners.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about some of the challenges that they have if they have this.
So typically midfoot pain happens when you are weight bearing, when you are running, you're on your toes, you're putting stress across the arch of your foot, mm-hmm. and most patients have pain on the top of their foot. Okay. They have pain that is associated with sometimes instability, mm-hmm. with loss of the arch of the foot. Mm-hmm. And so we see that a lot with runners, but even as we get older, we just see that with regular osteoarthritis, just wear and tear of the joints as the joints start to break down in the foot.
Okay, so obviously we have a community where they're a little bit older,
right.
And like you said, they're probably experiencing a lot of this. What are some of the symptoms? Is it, like you said, instability? Mm-hmm. Is it a lot of pain?
It's typically pain. I think the presenting symptom is typically pain, and most patients located at the top of the foot. And it occurs when they're weight bearing, and it can keep them up at night, but and they may often notice deformity with loss of the arch, so your arch can be decreased.
Home remedies, is there such a thing that you can do before you go to the doctor?
The main thing is decreasing the load across the foot. Okay. So that would be weight loss, that would be finding shoes that aren't as flexible, and sometimes replace the bridge that was lost through mm-hmm. the arthritis. Mm-hmm. So a stiffer shoe and not a flexible shoe helps you, ambulate and move throughout the day.
So what about having the inserts, those inserts like that are custom made?
Yeah. Inserts are great, but you should talk to your orthopedic surgeon about what the proper type of insert is. There are lots of inserts out there. Okay. And ones for midfoot arthritis help support the midfoot. It's not just arch support. It's actually they're stiff and they are cushioned in areas that support the midfoot. Okay.
All right. Perfect. Technology today. What are some of the things that we're actually looking at today, and what you maybe see down the future?
So a lot of the technology as a foot and ankle surgeon, for us, revolves around biologics, and with regards to surgery, we hear about things like stem cells and PRP and things like that. These are very cutting edge things that sometimes we use to help healing, whether it be tendon repair, ligament, or fusion. Those are some of the more advanced, but really for the non-operative things, it's the material science, right? Our shoes, the materials that we use for our shoes, and their form and their function have all improved and are more over the counter now. So there are great options to help treat these non-operatively, and you just have to talk to the right person.
So let's say someone comes to you and they have this particular injury or any type of injury in the foot. What would be some of the first things that you would do for them?
So first, it starts with a great history and a good physical exam, and really pinpointing where your symptoms are. Because like I said, there are over 26 bones and 33 joints in the foot, and over half of those are involved in the midfoot. And it's more complex than you think. So really isolating out through my exam and through some imaging typically just plain x-ray, I can figure out which part of the midfoot, needs the support. And then, I typically start with things, like I said, offload, right? We start with weight loss, we start with stretching of the calf, right? Things that put pressure on the foot.
Right.
And then we go from there. And then it's a slow process. I mean, it's arthritis isn't something that typically happens right away. It's something that osteoarthritis happens over years, many years.
Right. So you're saying that, so I guess for any athlete, I'm a tennis player and
Sure.
the calves are constantly tight. So
Right.
any type of exercise is going to cause that particular type of tightening. So
Some people are born naturally with a tight calf muscle.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep. And so there are home stretches you can do,
Okay.
physical therapy, and then sometimes in very extreme circumstances, surgery is indicated to kind of help stretch things out and relieve the pressure on your foot.
So tell me a little bit about, so you played football for a while, and you also suffered a particular injury as well. And then I know that you guys treat the Chargers. So tell me, I mean, obviously it's just football. What are some of the other folks that you get in there that are other sports, other types of sports?
Oh, I mean, to be honest, badminton.
Badminton.
Badminton, tennis, right? Things that require a quick change of direction. Right? And we see a lot of Achilles tendon,
Sure.
Pain and degeneration as we get older. And we know now that degenerative tendons lead to rupture. So I like to get to these patients early when they're starting to have pain and swelling in the posterior ankle, and get them involved in appropriate non-operative care to hopefully mitigate that. The other thing is plantar fasciitis. A lot of people get pain, and you ask me where the pain is with midfoot arthritis. It's on the top of the foot, but if you told me the pain was on the bottom of the foot, that increases my differential, and I'm starting to think of other things that that support the foot on the plantar aspect, which is the plantar fascia.
Oh, okay.
And it can be disabling, and I all my patients, I don't minimize them. I listen to them. We have a great conversation about where their symptoms start and what makes them better and worse, and come up with a plan together.
What does orthopedic, Hoag Orthopedic do differently than maybe some other places?
This is my first, I've been with Hoag now for a few months, and I can just say that they're excellent from top to bottom. And not just with the orthopedic, the physicians, but the entire staff, right? And that's what you want. Taking care of the entire patient means that, you have a good experience from the time you walk in to the waiting room, to your interaction with the physician assistants and the medical assistants, and then with the physician and all the technology around, top notch.
Excellent.
And I've been to a lot of different places. I finished my fellowship at Harvard. I graduated from UCSF, UC San Francisco, and I've been to a lot of great institutions, and Hoag is one of the best.
Well, gosh, welcome. Only 4 months. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for the information. I appreciate it. And one last thing, just
Sure.
real quick. If you were to tell our audience one thing that they should do to prevent these types of injuries, what would it be?
Get the right shoes.
Get the right
Get
shoes.
the right shoes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in support.
Okay.
And a lot of these shoes out here are, minimally, they don't have much support. They're all meant to conform and be really floppy. And I think that's one of the worst things you can do for a foot that's, had some wear and tear, like mine.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. Well, thank you so much. Very nice to meet you.
Thank you.
And if you want additional information about what we just talked about, you can go to HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com. We'll be right back.